Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tesla's stock was up almost 6% today. And here in this video, I want to go over exactly why I think Tesla stock is likely to go higher from here. And I know this is not the take that a lot of you guys are going to resonate with. We're so caught up in the bearish case, the bearish talk, the bearish outlook for Tesla. And I think even, unfortunately, some retail investors have got so biased in a bearish way that they can't even see the good that is in front of them. There's a reason why Tesla's stock is up almost 6% today. And I think there's important context that you need to know. So I will go over data with you. I will go over our major event this week, which is CPI, and why I think that could actually be a big positive for Tesla stock as well. I want to go a little bit more in depth in the charts. Overall, I'll try to keep this video short, sweet, and straight to the point. So ladies and gentlemen, do me a quick favor, hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section, and let's get started. So first up, Tesla stock was up over 5% today, and there's an obvious reason for that. That is the August 8th launch of the unveil of the Robotaxi, not necessarily the launch. And there's a lot of various different opinions here. We don't have a lot of details. Franz just said in the clip that I shared in the last video, you shouldn't really believe everything you hear or you read, he said specifically. That was in reference to the Model 2 getting delayed. I don't think it's getting delayed. I think we can expect the same timeline, second half 2025. And for the Robotaxis, right, the first production lines are not going to be for consumers, not for you to buy, not for the guy in China to buy or the guy in India to buy. No, it's going to be for Robotaxis. That's ultimately a huge net positive for Tesla. Wall Street is caught up in the semantics of all of this, running on speculation that this product is quote unquote delayed. Let's just take a step back for a second. Would you rather, remember that game, have 100,000 Robotaxis out on the road, or Tesla to sell 100,000 Model 2s to customers? If you don't get the right answer there, well, it's pretty obvious. Robotaxis would obviously be much better. Now, there is this understanding by a lot of people on Wall Street, rightfully so, that Tesla has long, in basically its entire history, overestimated targets for when products are coming, right? Whether it's the Roadster, the Semi, the Cybertruck, all of these things, yes, Tesla has been late to. And chances are Tesla will be late to the Model 2 as well. But I think it's way too soon to be making that kind of speculation. And if you give Tesla and Elon the benefit of the doubt, and in my opinion, if the timeline stays the same, there's a chance the timeline gets moved up, that it could come in the first half of 2025. The first Robotaxis cranking. It's going to be a slow and gradual ramp, just like the Cybertruck. We're not going to wake up one day and Tesla's making thousands of Model 2s in a week, right? That's just not going to happen. It's going to be like the Cybertruck. But maybe the timeline gets pushed forward instead of backwards. And I think a lot of people are just at the point where they're like perma bears on Tesla, and not permanent bears. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but they've gotten to a state of mind around Tesla that is just super negative. I mean, look at StockTwits. StockTwits really measures retail investor sentiment. I don't think a lot of hedge funds get on here and voice their opinions. Some do, it's possible, but this is mainly an outlet for retail investors. That's why I like to look at it. Sentiment today for Tesla is at 44. It is bearish, and Tesla stock is up almost 6%. Yesterday, you were neutral at 50 for sentiment. So, message volume is at 53. Yesterday, it was low at 40. Participation ratio is at 56, meaning more accounts are talking about Tesla. Okay, Now, I'm a contrarian by nature. Unless the business in question here is Tesla, has gotten dramatically worse than like long term, right? You can have blips here and there. Some points are going to do better than others. Some points are going to do worse. But really, the bottom line is, as long as nothing changed with the long-term business outlook, then I don't think that bearishness is justified. And I think a lot of people get caught up in what already happened. Markets don't care about that, guys. Markets don't care about that. Hedge funds, institutions, even Adam Jonas today said, Tesla's deliveries have already declined and they're likely going to decline. That's actually making a very forward-looking statement and taking somewhat of a, historical statement and pushing it into a forward-looking statement, right? Like last year is going to be like this year, and last quarter is going to be like next quarter, and the quarter after that, and the quarter after that. I think that's a dangerous game to play. Wall Street tends to look out and price out about 18 to 24 months, so about 2 years down the line. That means, by my understanding, right, just simple kind of look at a calendar here, that could put Wall Street potentially pricing in 2026 as of right now. And especially as we get towards August, you're really going to see Wall Street start to price in 2026 numbers. And if the Robotaxi starts and becomes operational, that's going to be fantastic. And again, would you rather have 100,000 Robotaxis out on the road or 100,000 Model 2s? I think the question is, what does Elon and the Tesla team say on the upcoming earnings on April 23rd and August 8th about the launch of the Robotaxi network? Is it delayed? Is it coming faster than expected? Is it still going to be the second half of 2025? Is it going to be June, July, or is it going to be November, December of 2025? Those things matter. But I think people are just running with a lot of speculation here. And as Fran said, you really shouldn't believe everything you read. And, you've seen a lot of guys like Meet Kevin. You've seen other guys just running with wildest assumptions. And I think it's a lot simpler than people think. FSD has improved dramatically, much more than Tesla expected. And it's going to improve much more than likely even Tesla expects over the next year and a half. By the time we're in the second half of 2025, it would make sense how robotaxis could come and be fully autonomous at this rate of improvement. And it's really as simple as that. You can also say that Tesla has started to put plans in place and started to take the right steps, like continuing to build out Giga Texas to make room for assembly lines for the Model 2. Tesla's dedicated $10 billion of R&D to the Cybertruck, to the next generation platform, to FSD for 2024. And that money is likely going to get the initial setup started for the Model 2, especially if Tesla believes robotaxis are happening sooner than expected. So it wouldn't surprise me coming on earnings if Tesla says, yeah, we're getting ready for production of the Model 2 right now. So we're good to go in 2025, maybe in the first half of 2025. Wall Street's not going to expect that. Wall Street's not going to expect the launch of the Robotaxi network by the first or second half of 2025. And it doesn't matter when the consumer Model 2 comes if Robotaxis come first. And I think that's very important. And I think a lot of people have missed that completely. Completely are missing the ball on this. And take a look at what this individual, Jackson S. on X, wrote. He said, I just heard from an insider that the next version of FSD should be V12.4 is going to be extremely, extremely, extremely awesome. Tesla is working on things that you have no clue about right now. And I also think it's kind of funny that Wall Street thinks they have Tesla figured out. Right. Wall Street doesn't know shit. Wall Street doesn't know left from right, Sunday to Monday, Thursday to Friday, let alone where FSD is going to be a year from now. and what Tesla's manufacturing capacity will be for the Model 2. Yeah. So the perma-bearish individuals, I guess, I don't really know a better word, but individuals that have just recently gotten bearish in the last couple of months, I actually love that, because that means a lot of people have sold out. A lot of people are not positioned in, the right way to take advantage of what we are about to experience with Tesla. I also think there is quite a large chance that Tesla tells us on their upcoming earnings on April 22nd or 23rd that they are going to focus more on profitability. And those are really the two things that you need from Tesla at this point to potentially send the stock to all-time highs. Is Tesla focusing on profitability, getting margins back closer to where they were, above that magical 20% auto gross margin threshold, keeping them there, continuing to grow margins from that point on. If that were to happen, Tesla's EPS would come in higher than expected. Analysts would have to raise their earnings estimates, not for just this year, but for the foreseeable future. If you start to tack on their estimates going higher because of robotaxis in 2026, you could make a logical argument that Tesla stock is going much higher from here. Now, the other thing that I want to point out is CPI. And I talked about this before, I think 2 or 3 times here on the channel, so I'm not going to mention it too much. But CPI comes out on Wednesday. I did make a bullish trade on IWM, that is the Russell 2000, for this event that will happen on Wednesday, the CPI event. I think the services prices paid, you're ignorant if you ignore this, just based on the correlation that you see with services, prices, and inflation. They tend to tick up and down month by month. You just seen a utter collapse of service prices, lower than where you were even pre-pandemic. So you're almost in deflation for service pricing. That's not exactly a great sign for the service sector of the economy, but that's definitely a good sign for inflation. So odds are inflation comes in lower than expected on Wednesday. Who will benefit from that? Well, glad you asked. Tesla, small cap names, interest rate sensitive names, companies with more debt, companies that are growing that maybe need to refinance debt. All of those will benefit. Who doesn't benefit? Big tech names, healthcare, oil, these areas of the markets that do not fit that bill that I just mentioned. So that could also really help Tesla as well. This comes just today when the markets are now pricing in the first cut July 31st of 2024 for the federal funds rate. Previously, you were expecting this in June, and I think you're likely to flip back to June, if not even May, depending on where that CPI number comes in at. If it comes in along the lines of estimates around 0.3% month over month, then maybe it becomes a toss-up between July and June. If you come in as I expect, around 0.15, so 0.15, which would get rounded up to 0.2, then I think you go back to June as the first pricing in of a rate cut. Potentially increase the odds of a cut in May as well, from 5% maybe to 20%, 25, 30%. Really make even May a toss-up if inflation comes in that low. If you come in at 0.1%, yeah, the odds of a cut in May are going to grow quite a bit. Now, this meeting is May 1st, so keep that in mind. It's not like midway through May. We're not going to get your April CPI report by May. So you'd really have to see CPI comes in super light to even, get a chance of a cut in May. But I think this will definitely put the cut back on the table and price that in fully again for June, which will be very bullish for Tesla. You mix these things together, and presumably after Tesla's earnings, we should get more clarity on what the timeline looks like for the Model 2. I could see Tesla going back into the 300s because everyone is so bearish. Everyone is poorly positioned, maybe is a better word. This sounds better. Poorly positioned for Tesla stock to do well. You can see cost bar fee is about 9% today. Hedge funds, institutions, yeah, they're shorting Tesla today. even though they're down about $900 million here on the day in their short positions. You have the highest short interest of free float you have seen in over 2 years, $17 billion currently sold short, with about 103 million shares that are currently sold short. So beyond just retail investors that have recently sold out, that have been trying to time the bottom, well, retail is going to get disappointed when Tesla stock goes higher, in my personal opinion. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. These are my opinions. And you also have institutions that are, super short and not bullishly positioned at all in Tesla for the most part. And I think that is really a recipe for disaster for the shorts that, again, could send Tesla stock into the 300s if I am correct. And Tesla tells the markets they're going to focus more on profitability. If CPI comes in good on Wednesday and you start to pull forward your rate cut expectations, and there's no delay of the Model 2, just instead of, consumers getting the Model 2, Tesla's confident they can start the Robotaxi network some point in 2025. Yeah, that's all she wrote for Tesla stock and the buy the dip opportunity that I'm hoping for. To be honest, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Tesla stock falls to 100. I hope it falls to $50 per share so I could buy as many as possible. Let me know what you guys think about this information down below in the comment section. For the day tomorrow, you don't have anything as far as economic data. You're going to be just positioning for Wednesday's CPI report coming tomorrow. And I will point out that 10-year Treasury yields did rise today. And that's notable. 10-year Treasury yields rose about 4 basis points. And the Russell 2000 rose almost 1%. Typically, you don't see that. And that's a good sign that people are front-running the CPI report coming out on Wednesday, and they're saying, hey, I want some positioning bullishly for the Russell 2000, for interest rate sensitive small cap stocks, because those are going to be the guys that benefit when and if the inflation report on Wednesday comes in good. Let me know what you guys think about this information down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.